Hi, I'm Stephanie Vecchio of the Middle Country Public Library, and welcome to another episode in our History Bites series. Today we will discuss the duel between Vice President Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton, the first Secretary of the Treasury of the United States. Alexander Hamilton, born on the Caribbean island of Nevis, came to the American colonies in 1773 as a poor immigrant. In 1776, he joined the Continental Army in the American Revolution, and his relentless energy and remarkable intelligence brought him to the attention of General George Washington, who took him on as an aide, his right-hand man. 10 years later, Hamilton served as a delegate to the Constitutional Convention, and he led the fight to win ratification of the final document, which created the kind of strong, centralized government that he favored. In 1789, he was appointed the first Secretary of Treasury by President Washington, and during the next 6 years he crafted a sophisticated monetary policy that saved the young U.S. government from collapse. With the emergence of political parties, Hamilton was regarded as a leader of the Federalists. Aaron Burr, born into a prestigious New Jersey family in 1756, was also intellectually gifted, and he graduated from the College of New Jersey, later Princeton, at the age of 17. He joined the Continental Army in 1775 and distinguished himself during the Patriot attack on Quebec. A masterful politician, he was elected to the New York State Assembly in 1784 and later served as state attorney. Burr often would find himself lying in wait for this kind of position. Hamilton and Burr had an acrimonious relationship throughout their time of knowing each other. In 1791, when Burr defeated Hamilton's father-in-law, General Philip Schuyler, for a seat in the U.S. Senate, Burr further incurred the hostility of Hamilton, who subsequently tried to thwart Burr's political aspirations on numerous occasions. Another notable example occurred during the 1800 presidential election. Due to quirks in the election process, Burr tied with Jefferson in the Electoral College vote, and he chose to vie with Jefferson for the top office. As a result of Hamilton's influence on his fellow Federalists, however, Burr lost. He became vice president but was marginalized by Jefferson. In an attempt to revitalize his political career, it had become clear he would not be renominated for vice president. Burr switched parties and sought the nomination as the Federalist candidate for governor of New York in early 1804. Again, Hamilton used his influence to block the ambitions of Burr, who subsequently ran as an independent and lost badly in April 1804. That month, a newspaper published a letter in which Dr. Charles D. Cooper claimed that at a dinner party, Hamilton had called Burr a dangerous man. In Cooper's words, Hamilton also expressed a more despicable opinion of Burr. In June, the aggrieved Burr wrote a letter to Hamilton calling for an explanation. The two men then engaged in a correspondence that ultimately resulted in Burr demanding that Hamilton deny that he had ever spoken ill of him. Hamilton felt that he could not comply without sacrificing his own political career, and although he opposed the practice of dueling, his eldest son Philip had died in a duel 3 years earlier, he accepted Burr's challenge. Duels were illegal in both New York and New Jersey, but were dealt with less harshly in New Jersey. So Burr and Hamilton agreed to meet at Weehawken on a secluded ledge above the Hudson River, a spot that had become a popular dueling ground. It had been the site of Philip, Hamilton's son, fateful duel. To keep the duel secret, Burr and Hamilton left Manhattan from separate docks at 5 a.m. on July 11, 1804, and were each rowed by 4 men to New Jersey. Burr arrived at Weehawken first at 6:30. Hamilton landed some 30 minutes later. Both men were accompanied by their seconds, individuals who were responsible for the duel being conducted honorably. Hamilton's second was Nathaniel Pendleton, a Revolutionary War veteran and Georgia District Court judge, while Burr had William P. Van Ness, a New York City federal judge. In addition, Hamilton had also brought Dr. David Hosick, a professor of medicine and botany at Columbia College, now Columbia University. Hamilton picked the side from which he would fire. There are conflicting accounts of what happened next. According to Hamilton's second, Nathaniel Pendleton, Hamilton decided the duel was morally wrong and deliberately fired into the air. Burr's second claimed that Hamilton fired at Burr and missed. What happened next is agreed upon. Burr shot Hamilton in the stomach, and the bullet lodged next to his spine. Hamilton was taken back to New York, and he died the next afternoon. These duels rarely resulted in deaths, and the nation was outraged by the killing of a man as eminent as Alexander Hamilton. Charged with murder, Burr, still vice president, returned to Washington, D.C., where he finished his term immune from prosecution. In 1805, Burr, thoroughly discredited, concocted a plot with James Wilkinson, commander of the U.S. Army, to seize the Louisiana Territory and establish an independent empire, which Burr presumably would lead. He contacted the British government and unsuccessfully pleaded for assistance in the scheme. Later, when border trouble with Spanish Mexico heated up, Burr and Wilkinson conspired to seize territory in Spanish America for the same purpose. In the fall of 1806, Burr led a group of well-armed colonists towards New Orleans, prompting an immediate U.S. investigation. General Wilkinson, in an effort to save himself, turned against Burr and sent dispatches to Washington accusing Burr of treason. In February 1807, Burr was arrested in Louisiana for treason and sent to Virginia to be tried in a U.S. court. In September, he was acquitted on a technicality. Nevertheless, public opinion condemned him as a traitor, and he fled to Europe. He later returned to private life in New York, their murder charges against him mostly forgotten. Towards the end of his life, he would reflect that the world was wide enough for both Hamilton and me. Burr died quietly in 1836. Thank you for joining us for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, click like, and if you watched on YouTube, hit subscribe. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.